What's up, everybody? Louis here. Just want to do a quick recap of UFC Vegas 74. Not my best card, not my worst card. 500. Kind of sucks. One to win some money, but, you know, got both the women's fight wrong. Got the first fight of the night wrong. And took some shots on some underdogs that didn't come through. So, right away, yeah, Philly, I picked Maxim Grishin, and that fight was just bad. Damon Blackshear pulled it out, got that one right. Alicia Reed, Jin Fry, I just went with the underdog on that one, so that's my fault. Jamie Malarkey, Mohamed Naimov plus 300 underdog. I just had some sort of feeling. I know Jimmy Malarkey takes a lot of damage. Rode with the underdog, and Naimov got it done, man. I mean, pretty decently competitive fight, but Naimov just laid him out with one big shot, so got that one right. Then I want to keep rolling the dice on Kyrgyzstan. I think that's where they're from. On Moin Gafarov. And relatively competitive fight. Gafarov, you know, he was tenacious the whole fight. He was landing big shots. He got coming forward. John Castaneda was more technical, though. Landed the more precise shots. Gafarov had landed some big shots there. He was just a little wild. And then also he lost a point for the headbutt. So that kind of hurt things. But not a bad performance from Gafarov, though, at all. And then at heavyweight, Andrei Arlovsky and Don'Tale Mayes. You know, I'm with Andrei Arlovsky, plus 110, the underdog. Don'Tale Mayes, I know he's more powerful, I guess more athletic in his prime compared to Arlovsky, but I just thought Arlovsky would be able to outpoint him like he does over 3 rounds, but he looked okay early on, and then Don'Tale Mayes started to land some big shots toward the end of the first round. And then Don'Tale ends up laying him out. Big overhand. So, yeah, man, Andrei Arlovsky's chin's gone, and, you know, before this whole career resurgence of these smart, close, technical wins, he was getting knocked out. So, I guess his chin's back to being really bad. And, yeah, man, it's kind of, I guess it's time for him to hang it up. You know, maybe a couple more fights to be a gatekeeper for some guys trying to get into the weight class in the UFC. But, yeah. But, you know, good one for Don'Tale Mayes. You know, he needed to win, and he got a win over a big name. He got a knockout. And, you know, Mayes is a, you know, or Arlovsky's decent litmus test for a guy. We at least know Don'Tale Mayes is a competent heavyweight. So, yeah, just really sucks, man. The heavyweight underdogs have not been winning lately, so that's really tough. And then, main event of the prelims, bantamweight, 135 pounds, Daniel Santos, Johnny Munoz. Rode with Santos on this one, was a little nervous about the lines, and Munoz kind of had a couple close submission attempts in the first round, but after that, it was just all Daniel Santos. Made the right pick on this one. In the first round, let's see, Santos. Yeah, so Santos was able to, like, push him to the ground and get some of the takedowns. Munoz threw up a triangle or an armbar attempt and looked kind of close in the first round, but after that, Santos was just picking him apart. Munoz tried to pull guard multiple times. Santos wasn't falling for that. He'd either follow him or just stand up and leg kick the shit out of him when Munoz was on his back. And then eventually Santos would get into his guard and he landed some pretty heavy ground and pound, just kind of beat him up. And it kind of happened for all 3 rounds. And Santos played it smart. Didn't just jump on the ground with him. Munoz, it's feeling like Munoz's battery percentage was kind of gradually draining throughout the fight. And Santos was able to get it done. So good for him. A little bit of a big line, but he got it done. Okay. First fight on the main card at welterweight. Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov taking on Alex Caceres dos Santos. I went with dos Santos, and it was a close, greasy one. Did Santos really win? I don't know, but call finally went my way. In the first round, Abu Bakar rocked him with a blitz, but dos Santos was battling in the clinch, and then he got some space. He was able to land some kicks and some nice overhands there. Then in the second round, Elijah landed an uppercut in the clinch. He was able to defend the clinch attempts of Abubakar when they were scrambling up against the fence, and then Abubakar was able to get the outside trip right down the round. Didn't do any damage with it, though. Didn't have a lot of time on top either. Then in the third round, Elijah started landing some more leg and body kicks. He was able to land some overhand rights. countering Abubakar's jab. But then Abubakar was able to get around his back, but Elijah was able to defend his back and get him off of there. And then he was landing some knees in the clinch as well. 2 knees in the head. He tried to go for the anaconda choke, and then he gave up a backpack at the end of the fight, but it didn't really matter. And, it's just one of them fights. It's relatively close. And, yeah, Elijah landed a little more volume, and Abubakar his striking looked okay, but he's just really focused on getting a takedown or clinching, and he did clinch him a good amount of the time, but he didn't do a ton of damage. So yeah, I thought decent bet, and we got the win, luckily. So, and then the second fight on the main card at women's flyweight, Karine Silva taking on Ketlin Souza. This one was stupid, but I just went with Ketlin Souza. She was a decent underdog for low-level women's MMA, but man, did I make the wrong decision. In the first round, Karine just got the body lock lift off the fence, and then just went to like a straight ankle lock submission. They call it the Z-lock, I guess. Ripped her knee apart. So yeah, I couldn't have been more wrong on this one. But I'm not upset about it. I'm not mad at myself because it was underdog in lower level women's MMA, and I made the right choice, and I don't care. So yeah, got that one wrong. I almost don't even want to count it, but it is what it is. Then, let's see, yeah. The third fight on the main card, 125 pounds men's flyweight, Tim Elliott taking on Victor Altamirano. I went with Tim Elliott. A little bit of a steep line there, but he had the veteran experience. I thought he could get it done. And then after all that bullshit going on in his personal life, the dude really needed a win. I thought the MMA gods were behind him, and I thought karma was on his side, and he got it done. Not the most exciting fight on the planet, but, First round, Tim was able to catch the kick right in a ground and pound from full guard. Victor tried to go for the armbar, couldn't get anything going. And then Tim, throughout the fight, he would be in full guard, landing punches, not the biggest punches, not really posturing up a ton, but he was staying busy, landing punches, staying active. It wasn't the most entertaining, but it wasn't boring. He was just laying on him. So, I'm cool with it. Then in the second round, Tim, he's able to get the single through the scramble situation, right into full guard. Some nice decent ground and pound, stayed busy. But then Victor rocked him with the head kick. But then Tim was still able to get that takedown. Tim just looked a little too loose on his feet. Has that weird style, but he was kind of leaving himself open, so I don't really know what he was doing on the feet. But then back up on the feet, it was Tim landed some overhands, stuffed his single leg attempt from Victor, and then he snapped down, go behind, landed some more ground and pound, and just stayed busy. Got to put that in the judges' heads, ending the round on top. Then in the third round, Tim landed a big overhand. He's able to get the single leg, complete that. But then back on the feet, Victor landed a hook from range, then a clean 1-2 down the middle, but then Tim was able to get the takedown off of that. Tim looked a little rocked, but not really. He was able to get the takedown, and then, Victor definitely had his moments on the feet, but Tim just kept getting those takedowns and wasn't letting Victor up, and Victor didn't really try to have any honest get-up attempts, really, and didn't have any, honest submission attempts either, so Tim just kind of worked him, got him up against the fence, Tim just outpaced him on the ground pretty much. But yeah, good win for him. Decent winnings on the bet. Didn't put a ton on it. But Tim Elliott's number 11. Victor wasn't ranked, so that was his chance to get in. And then we'll go to something. Kaikar France, we'll talk about him. But I think he called out Tim Elliott kind of, so maybe. But I think Tim Elliott versus Manal Cap kind of makes sense. I want to see Tim Elliott versus Matt Schnell, but Matt Schnell is paired up with somebody. I think Alex Perez is leaving the weight class and the promotion. So, Tim or Muhammad Makayev and Tim Elliott, I think that's the fight to make. Either that or Manel Kopp, because they need him to fight they need a prospect to make their name off of him. And if Tim Elliott beats a big prospect, and he's going to be the new star in a division, or people look at it, this will be his second run in the division. So I think he either fights Muhammad Makayev or Manel Kopp, either one, but either fight sounds fun to me. So glad for Tim Elliott. Okay, the featured fight of the card, 155 pounds, men's lightweight, short notice replacement with Jesse Butler for Jared Gordon. Not much to report. Jim Miller gets a knockout in 30 seconds. He just keeps pressing, and he's landing that left cross counter whenever Jesse Butler's throwing that right cross. Hits him twice. Second time he goes down. Lands a left uppercut on the way down. Knocks him clean out. Not much to talk about there. Jim Miller was a pretty sizable favorite, but it was worth it. I mean, Jim Miller's a good litmus test. Like, if you're a real prospect, you'll beat Jim Miller. But if you're just some guy coming in off the UFC making your debut and you're not legit, Jim Miller's going to knock you out in the first round, I guess. So Jim Miller, he was, what was his? Minus 230, so a little bit of change there, but, you know, whatever. Who should he fight next? They're talking about him and Matt Brown at 170. Just do that, I guess. You know, or he can just keep being a test for hot prospects making their debut, coming off the Contender Series or whatever. But, yeah, man, good for Jim Miller. Said he wants to fight a UFC 300. I think he's definitely going to. Coming event of the evening, 145 pounds, men's featherweight, Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres taking on Daniel the Pit Pineda. Very fun fight, very violent. I went with Alex Caceres. You know, I didn't really have to think too much about this. He was in more trouble than I thought he was going to be in, so I thought sub for Caceres plus 450 was worth a shot, but it didn't get there. It was just kind of a drag him out. I mean, Alex Caceres controlled the majority of the fight. But that second round, you know, Pineda kind of beat him up a little bit. So that's just how it goes sometimes. Pineda's pretty tough. First round, Alex was able to stuff the shots. He gets in a full guard, lands some ground and pound, kind of pancakes him. Dan got close with an armbar attempt, but Caceres noticed it right away and was able to scramble out of it and turn in. And then back on his feet, Alex rips to the body, and then he rocks him with an overhand left. Then in the second round, Dan started landing some overhand rights against the fence. Alex was countering to the body pretty nicely. He was landing some crosses, but then Dan was able to finish that low single leg takedown. Takes Alex's back, surprisingly. Alex reversed it, but then Daniel has a Kimura. Then he's able to get into full mount, kind of beat him up a little bit, but, you know, Alex is pretty tough. Then in the third round, Alex really hurt him with that left body kick, and then he started ripping the body a little more. Then he was landing some straight flurry against the fence, and then he was able to duck under the punch, get him to the ground, gets the figure four around the back, but then Daniel was able to get up, and then kind of dropped him like a flash drop, but with an overhand right, but Alex was able to pop right back up, and it looked like it was either like a drop or a wobble. His knees buckled, but it was all good. They didn't really count that too much. I thought Alex, you know, won the fight for the most part. But, yeah, Pineda's tough. Kind of hard to, like, beat him cleanly, I guess. But Caceres was number 15 going into that, and the ranking was on the line for that fight. And then Caceres, he last fought Sadiq Youssef, who was ranked. He lost to him, competitive, but Sadiq clearly won. I think Edson Barboza and Caceres is perfect. Barboza's number 14, coming off that amazing knockout of Billy Quarantillo. Because number 13 is Dan Ige. He's fighting Nate to train. You know, if Dan Ige loses, that'd be a good matchup. And then Bryce Mitchell's number 11. He's fighting. So, yeah, I would do Alex Caceres and Edson Barboza right there. 14 and 15 going at it. Caceres can just kind of slowly climb the ranks if that's what he wants to do. Man, or they're not going to rematch Youssef. So, you know, after that, it's Bryce Mitchell, then Movsar Evloev. So, featherweight's kind of a Shark Tank above that. But, you know, if he would fight Dan Ige, I kind of like his chances against Dan Ige. But, or maybe even Bryce Mitchell. I don't know. I think it'd be competitive. I think Mitchell might out-grapple him. But, you know, Caceres, who knows. But I think Barboza and Caceres, that's a fight to make. Should be fun. I'm here for it. The main event of the evening at 125 pounds, men's flyweight, Kai, don't blink, Kara France taking on Amir the Prince Albazi. Yeah, so Kai clearly won the fight. The rounds were competitive, but they weren't close. And it's blatant robbery, I'm going to be honest. But, yeah, what are you going to do about it, dude? I'm sick of arguing about it. Obviously, nobody cares. The conspiracy theory is that Amir Albazi, he's from Iraq, so it's better for the UFC for pay-per-view buys if he fights on the Abu Dhabi card, possibly fights for the title, instead of Kai Kara France. So, whatever. It was a competitive fight. It just wasn't close. Like, the rounds Kai won, he clearly won them. And there's one round, I think in the second round, it could have went either way. But Kai definitely won a first round. He definitely won the fourth round. Definitely won a fifth round. So, but let's go over real quick. First round, Kai is able to stop the single leg against the fence. And then Amir gets pressured by Kai. He was looking for some stepping overhands and some elbows. But then Kai was able to counter, and he lands some sliding jabs, double up the jab, triple up the jab, throws some 1-2s. Then he lands some overhands, lands some leg kicks. Looked pretty good. I thought Kai won that one. Again, competitive round, not close. In the second round, Amir gets pressured to the fence again, and then he shoots Kai. But then he shoots Kai to the fence, but then Kai's able to defend it. Kai had really good takedown defense. He showed that in his fight, except for the third round. But then Amir was landing some nice overhand rights and some left uppercuts, but then Kai was able to slip a lot of these shots. And then he was landing a couple counters back. They were pretty close. He landed like a counter hooker, counter overhand. And I kind of thought Amir won the second round. That's kind of the toss-up one. So I guess you give the one to Amir. I thought he landed some of the bigger shots. Kai threw a lot of quick shots, a lot of volume. And then in the third round, Amir was able to complete the single leg off the fence, gets right on the back of Kai. Kai hits a switch sit. He's able to get up quickly. But then Amir hits a back trip, takes his back, locks in that rear naked choke attempt. Looking pretty close. Thought Kai might tap, but Kai's pretty tough. He's able to fight out of it, turn out of it. And then Kai was able to stand up, and then he turns him on his hips. And then Kai's in full guard, landing some nice ground and pound for the last minute of the round. Still, though, Amir clearly got that round, but Kai ended on top. So, he's sending a message for the fourth and fifth rounds that, hey, I'm still here, and I'm going to turn up in the fourth and fifth rounds. And in my opinion, that's what he did. In the fourth round, Kai was circling on the outside, pumping a lot of jabs, and then Amir shoots a double, gets the double, but then Kai was able to switch sit, and he's able to get out of it. And I just thought Kai, outstruck him. Not a whole lot happened in this fight, but Kai clearly outlanded him, and Amir took him down real quick, didn't do any damage with it, okay? And then in the fifth round, Kai was landing some leg kicks and some step-in overhand rights, and then Amir was able to get that double, but then Kai gets right to his feet again, is able to break free. Amir is around his back standing. Kai was able to break the hands and walk away. And then Kai's landing for more jabs. He was looking for the uppercut and then the jab. He threw the rear uppercut, then a jab combo he was throwing. And then Amir landed some counter overhands. But then Kai was landing he was sliding in, landing some elbows in the pocket. And then he was landing the uppercut and the left hook combination. And then Kai was able to slip some straights and then land some more jabs. So, yeah, Kai just outstruck him. Amir was looking for some of them big power shots. Didn't really land too many of them, and they weren't clean when they landed. And Kai just outstruck him, and Amir couldn't get anything going with the takedowns in the fourth or the fifth round. So, yeah, it was an even money fight, so it's not a big deal, but just sucks, man. I think Kai should have won. Like, it's clear. Like, I would say it is a robbery because what rounds are you going to give to Amir? The first round, it's Kai's round. Third round's Amir's round. Second round could go either way, but 4 and 5. How are you going to give 4 and 5 to Amir Albazi? It is what it is. I'm done talking about it. Amir looks good, though, man. He's up and coming in the weight class, and Kai Kara-France just fought for the interim title. He fought the champion. So, yeah, good performance from him. Now, Kai was number 3 going into that fight, and where's he at? Amir was number 7. Amir's now number 3, and Kai's now number 5. So nothing too crazy. But, I think Amir Albazi and Brandon Royval should just fight. Because Moreno is going to fight Pantoja next. I really think Davison Figueiredo is going to 135. We don't know what's going on with him. Then you got Pantoja fighting for the title. And then Amir Albazi's there. Brandon Royval has been on a tear. Brandon Royval has a win over Kai Kara-France. I think those two should just fight. I don't know, unless they want to wait around for the title. But who knows who's going to wait. I guess you got to see who wins for the title. But that's a good fight. Royval is not going to fight Kai Kara-France again. I think you do Kai Kara-France and Matheus Nicolau. I think that's the play to make. Nicolau was knocked out Matt Schnell, and Nicolau just got finished by Brandon Royval. So I think that's the fight to make, man. I think it's a decent bounce-back fight for Kai. And that keeps him right there in the top 5 if he wins that fight. So, yeah, Brandon Royval actually knocked him out. So, yeah. I think that's good if that's what Kai wants to do. Or if Kai maybe wants a little bit of a step back. You could go Matt Schnell versus Kai Kara-France. Kai's going to win that fight. So, Yeah, but either way, Featherweight is still fun. And, now you got Amir Albazi's entering the chat for the title picture. So, I just think he needs one more to prove himself to everybody. I mean, most people don't think he won that fight. So, I think Albazi and Royval, I think that's a banger. I think that's fun. And whoever wins that fight, definitely earn a title shot. Thanks for riding with me. Didn't do that great this week, but we got a fun pay-per-view coming up. Amanda Nunes taking on Irene Aldana. And then you got Charles Oliveira taking on Bill Dariush. So there's some fights I like on there, but I'm just going to keep doing my research and just try to focus in, tighten up some things, and win some money. Thanks, everyone. See you for UFC 289. I'm excited.